Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever the case is, wherever you are watching this live stream. Chris Khan TV. Hope you're all well. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're fine and healthy and dandy. Welcome to another preview show. And we're previewing the big, huge, massive game, which is the case for every Liverpool game these days, against Brighton and Hove Albion. Did I say it right this time, Maz?
Yeah, you got it right. You got it right this time.
You told me off because I don't know why I called it Brighton City or something.
I think you called it Brighton Albion, maybe something like that.
Brighton Albion, yeah, and I forgot the Hove bit.
Yeah.
In fact, you might be able to give us a lesson on what the Hove bit is, like Brighton and Hove Albion. Why is it called Brighton and Hove Albion?
Yeah, so
obviously, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Maz. Obviously, everyone knows Maz by now. Maz is like
I was going to say I'm a resident now, Grizz.
Yeah,
I'm a resident Brighton fan.
Exactly. Don't need to.
So Hove. Funny enough, I actually live in Hove. Well, I don't at the moment, but back home, yeah. So it's just literally it's Brighton and Hove, which is joined together,
Right.
and then it's basically split by this statue basically in Brighton. I think it's the Queen, and that's basically shows you when you enter Hove.
It's the Queen. I
don't know, mate. It's some kind of statue. Do you know what I mean? I don't really pay too much attention. And then that basically splits Brighton and Hove, so you know when you've entered Hove and you know when you've entered Brighton, if that makes sense.
Of course.
Yeah. And then so it's just literally conjoined with Brighton and Hove, and I live in Hove. So yeah, anyone. Sort of when one thing funny I find really funny is when people go where are you from? When I used to go uni and that, they're like, where are you from? But from Hove, Brighton, whatever. But then there's be people saying I'm from Brighton. I was like, whereabouts? And they're like, Lewis. And I'm like, listen, there's no Joe, or Eastbourne or Worthing, places are surrounded. I'm like, no, let's have it right. If you're from Brighton, it's either going to be Brighton or Hove. That's the only place where you can actually say you're from Brighton. But yeah, there you go. That's your history lesson.
No, exactly, lovely. I've always, a bit Conway. You didn't know all that.
I didn't know that. I do know another Brighton fan in Scotland, but I didn't know that. That's pretty impressive. There you go. But I remember when he supported them, he supported them all his life, but it was when they were you moved stadiums, obviously, and that was a big thing at the time. And literally in the space of that time to where you are now, it's actually ridiculous. I know we're going to get on a bit of Potter ball. Grizz knows I love Graham Potter, so we're not even going to waste too much time in that. But the fact is, everything Brighton have done in the last 10 years is just there's so many people who are bad at running football teams. And if you want to see how it's done correctly, even from people like Dan Ashworth, just everything, there's a reason so many people are trying to get these people in their teams now is because of what you had in place. And I think it's so impressive, mate. Honestly, I really do.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. No, I mean, talking to Dan Ashworth, we won't talk about him because he's a Judas, but he's obviously left now to go to Newcastle, which is it's a massive shame, obviously. But no, like you said, Tony Bloom and all the higher ups, Paul Barber as well. The way they run the club is incredible. He's a professional poker player, so you'd hope he knows he knows how to make deals and do all the business side of things. But no, it's a brilliantly run club, and I'm proud to be a Brighton fan at the moment. Well, not recently in the past couple of weeks, but yeah, in general.
Everyone tuning in must be thinking, yeah, man, this is the Brighton.
Brighton podcast.
But Abby likes them as well. There's definitely a thing. Brighton.
Maz has given us a proper history lesson, why it's called Brighton and Hove Albion. He doesn't know the statue that separates the two.
I don't, unfortunately.
If it's the Queen or not. He's going to send me a screenshot of next time you go past it. Can you just send me a picture of the statue?
Yeah.
Work out between us if it's the Queen or not. We should really know if it's the Queen or not by now.
Yeah, I got you.
And then Conroy, without any sort of push from any other of us, started talking about Brighton as his second team and his love affair with.
No, it's not. But come on, we know Arsenal's your second team, Chris.
It's cool. Henry wants to know: is Brighton a good day out as an opposing fan, man?
Oh yeah, it's incredible, man. Brighton for me. Brighton's one of the best nights out you could have, really. I get slated a lot. So I live in London now. I live in East London for work purposes. But I always compare Brighton to a mini London, which I get slated for massively. And a lot of people tell me it's not. But I think it's a great night out. It's got a lot to do. Obviously, you've got Brighton Pier. You've got obviously the beach and the lanes as well, which are sort of the old school. It's quite self-explanatory, but it's sort of the lanes where it's cobbled streets and very old-fashioned in sort of back in the 1800s, whatever it is. So it's a really cool place, very edgy. and it's got a lot to do. And when the weather's nice as well, the beach is brilliant.
Can't go wrong.
Can't go wrong. Exactly, mate.
Can't go wrong.
Yeah.
I must admit, I was thinking, Brighton, and I went there once. I've never been as a Liverpool fan to the game. I'm going Saturday, hopefully. Fingers crossed, everything goes to plan. But I went a long time ago in my uni days, just for a night out, as the case was back in the day.
Yeah.
Used to have nights out, believe it or not. Yeah, I've been there, done it, and I can testify. Maz is spot on. It's an amazing night out, but that's another story for another day, possibly.
Yeah, it's for another podcast.
When no family's watching. Conroy's gone off the stream with embarrassment. Just in case I was about to expose myself, but he's gone off. But Maz, welcome to the show. Obviously, you're welcome anyway, because as you said, you're part of the furniture, the family. Call it what you want. How you been anyway? Everything all right?
Yeah, well, good, man. I appreciate it. Yeah, no, it's been busy, like personally, like work wise, I've been super busy. But yeah, man, like football wise, it's been a bit depressing. Obviously, not for you boys. It's been quite the polar opposites on that front. But yeah, no, man, I can't complain. Life's good. Life's good at the moment.
Good stuff.
We've got Conroy back.
Yeah, Conroy's back. Conroy has these.
That wasn't my fault that time. That wasn't my fault. The StreamYard told me this was not on your side, so I don't know what happened there.
Really?
Yeah.
Did StreamYard tell you that? Okay,
well,
it's amazing. It never happened.
Do you know how it comes up when it says like the StreamYard when you try again one, but it actually said that time this was on our end. So that's out of 100, that was the one time it wasn't me.
Fair enough. I think, look, even though it's a Brighton Liverpool preview and we've got so much to talk about and get into, I think there's only one place to start, right, lads? We've got to do it justice. Not justice. We've got to give it some airtime because it's the talking point of the season so far, I guess, of many a season. Like it's a mad scenario. I don't know who wants to go first. It was like, who wants first dibs? Like, what the fuck? Like Roman Abramovich. So we know that he's been sort of accused of being an ally. Is that the right word? Maybe, or whatever, of Putin, who's at the moment invading Ukraine, and we knew as a result he's going to get in a lot of trouble for it. We also knew as a result he's going to try to flog the club, his assets, whatever. He first tried to worm his way out and say, give it to the charity fund, let them run it. They said, no, fuck off, we ain't touching that with a barge pole. Go and do one. So then he's been forced to sell it ASAP, quick, before the government gets hold of him. They gave him a couple of weeks to try to get rid of it. There was no way he was going to get rid of Chelsea in a couple of weeks. Absolutely no chance. Lo and behold, 2 weeks later, sanctioned, everything's frozen. Conroy, what do you make of this all?
It's a bit unprecedented. Is that the right word? I'm sure there has been situations where it's been serious and we've looked into, but I just think with what's happening, it's in my memory, it feels like that. It feels unprecedented. And as I say, I think Jayton said associated Putin. I heard something on the radio now in the chat. If you can correct me, someone put it as a mechanisms. Like Abramovich's assets have been mechanisms to what Russia are taking place. So I think there's like specifically in the past there's like a steelworks or some sort of manufacturer that actually has been used for certain like tanks or something like that, something specific. So basically because of that and several things like that, they just basically froze all his assets. So it's quite a lot to take in. It's a lot of information. You've seen Twitter today. Actually, I've only been on a few times, to be honest, Grizz, because every time you're on, you had about spaces for 8 hours talking about it, continuous tweets. It's a bit mad, and it's going to be very interesting. Me and you said that before, and I do actually mean interesting, like genuinely, like I don't know what's going to happen. Everyone's got theories, but I'll be honest, guys, like you could end up seeing Chelsea be taken over, be just the same, be taken over, and it's maybe not as much, or you could see some people have mentioned ideas that there could be like not a fire sale, but certain be like that. They could take quite a knock. I don't think that will happen, but whatever it is, it's unprecedented, and you really don't know what's going to happen. And Grizz, I'll let Maz take it, but I want to obviously get your thoughts in as well, because you're always hosting. So I think we need to know your thoughts on the whole
Yeah, for
situation.
Sure. You're right. It's a tricky one. It's a tricky one, and to give an opinion on it is mad because it's unheard of. We don't know. We haven't experienced it. There's no case study for it. We can't go back and say, do you remember that happened, and then this is what happens. This is a guy at 20 years ago or 19 years ago. Is it 19 or 20 years ago? Decided he's got a lot of money and he needs to. And I'm gonna say how it is, right? He had to clean it. Sports washing as it is, right? The biggest sports washer football's ever known, I think. Sorry, definitely Premier League's ever known. And we didn't know it at the time. We thought, oh, it's a guy who's walked down, what's that called? Is it the famous Chelsea Road? There's a famous Chelsea Road. But anyway, everyone thought, oh, he's walked down there and he's fallen in love with Chelsea. No, he didn't. He tried to buy Arsenal first. He tried to buy Spurs first. He tried to buy Fulham. He tried to buy all these other clubs first. So it wasn't, he wanted Chelsea, he fell in love with Chelsea. You know what I mean? He saw an opportunity, he bought Chelsea. And then, obviously as the years gone by, we've seen it for whatever reasons, the political reasons, the push from Russia. He's an active member now of a lot of the policies. And look, it is what it is. People at the time, look, from a Chelsea fan point of view, I can understand their disappointment, upset, because they're like us, aren't they? They're everyday game fans. They don't know what the fuck's like. Sorry, they don't really. They're powerless to do anything about it. They just support the team. You know what I mean? So I feel sorry for the fans, but I've had debates on other shows, and I think, Conroy, you're referring to one, especially where I don't have 1 ounce of sympathy for Roman Abramovich. Like, fucking good riddance, mate. Absolute, get out of here. And I have no sympathy for him. But I do have the sympathy of people that work around the club that now don't have jobs.
Yeah, the staff, definitely. That's
staff,
a really good point.
Yeah, absolutely. Our sympathies do go out to these people. But the hierarchy, the people that have turned this into whatever they've turned it into, and people know, people that are more knowledge than learned me will tell you what they've turned it into and what he's getting done for now. It's horrific. It's absolutely horrific. And it was a matter of time. And this is why he's running. People think, oh, he's running. He's not selling it out of his love for Chelsea or trying to save Chelsea. He's trying to save his own fucking skin and ass. Good riddance to the man. But hopefully, the people on the ground, so to speak, pardon the unintended pun, but, hopefully they get back to normality in terms of their livelihoods and them trying to sort of make money for their family and whatever. I do feel sorry for them. But yeah, Abramovich and his coonies or groonies, whatever you want to call them, fuck them out of here, man. That's my opinion on it. Maz?
Yeah, no, it's just sort of going off the back of what you guys have said. I think with regards to Abramovich himself, he's obviously benefited from the relationship with Putin. So he's like, throughout his whole career, I believe, like, again, this is just from what I've read and what I've heard, he benefited a lot financially, just from being a pro-Kremlin oligarch. So like, he had a very close relationship with Putin, and he's had a lot of preferential treatment from him. So not only in business, but I think in other goings on as well. So I think it's sort of like time's caught up with him, and it's sort of justice at the end of the day but like you said, I don't like seeing the fans get punished, but unfortunately by association they are going to. So it's just one of those things. But it'll be interesting to see, for me personally, like as a football fan, to see like the impact it has long term, because like you said, it's like we don't know what's going to happen now. So like, obviously the immediate future, they're fucked. I think they've been they can only spend 20,000 on away days. I think it is. They've got like a budget of 20,000 they have to stick to. Their 3 partnerships been taken away from them or been put on hold, which is 40 million a year, I believe, or 40 million sort of contract. So they've had a lot of sanctions imparted onto them, which it'll be interesting to see how that affects them like going forward. Obviously, they can't sign players either or sell players. So like, there's going to be a lot of long-term implications, which again, we don't really know the full extent of. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. Obviously, they've got a lot of loan players out, which, you know, Gallagher, Broha at Southampton. They've got some quality.
Gilmore's out as
Billy
well,
Gilmore. They've got some quality players out on loan. So, you know, from a on the pitch perspective, with the squad they've got at the moment and the players out on loan, probably in the short term, not really like in the next sort of 1 or 2 years, shouldn't have a massive impact. But then if it's still this, you know, these sanctions or whatever, or things haven't, I'm sure it will be, but if they haven't been sorted in sort of the next year or two, then that's when you're thinking, oh, wow, they could be in trouble, like, you know, signing players on the pitch.
Even if they want to offload something, Maz, it's like specifically Roman Abramovich can't make any money.
Yeah.
So like they could argue that, I don't agree with all of it, but say like the club merch, that could somehow get into the hands of Roman Abramovich. So say like if they want to cash back in Lukaku somewhere, like in the summer, I don't think that would happen, but in general, that might be an area as well. I don't know, guys. So I just think, see, when I heard that if Chelsea's to be sold now, it could potentially be overseen by the whoever freezes it. Apologies, I forgot, but they would oversee that. So therefore, I think they'll get sold before the summer or before the close to the end of the season because of that.
I see what you're saying, Conroy, and that is the case, because what they're saying now, the situation is it can only be sold. It can only be sold if none of the proceeds, not even a penny or ruble or whatever, or dollar or euro or whatever, however they're paying,
Nothing
goes to Roman Abramovich. And if Roman Abramovich gives permission for it to be sold, then there will have to be, again, I don't know the word for it. You're right. I guess someone from the government will have to be you know, who. But again, the proceeds, where do they go?
Well, I heard rumours that it's going to go to I might talking rubbish here, guys. I just heard this on the radio that are potentially going towards like Ukraine or to help with that. No, I might have misheard that.
Well, no, because Roman Abramovich himself said any proceeds or net profit or gross profit, at the time there was a bit of confusion as what he meant, was going to go to anyone affected by the war.
Yeah.
And so therefore, people have jumped on that and said that's very vague. How do we know it's not going to go to the Russian side?
Yeah.
As opposed to only the Ukrainian side? It's murky, it's messy, it's not straightforward. I know what you mean, Conroy, like you do think that it's going to get resolved.
I just don't think it'll be as bad as people expect. That's the way I see it.
I
could be wrong.
I think it's going to, I'm with Maz in terms of short term. It's not going to affect them short term. But I think long term, when I say long term, sort of anyone coming into that, look, what was Roman Abramovich famous for in terms of, forget everything else, but in terms of running of the club? He was famous for any situation he finds himself in. What does he do? Sign a check. So whether it's sack a manager and pay him off, sign a check. We need a striker, sign a check. So much so that they owe him 1.5 billion. Right? No one else coming into that club, in my opinion, is going to fund them like that, is going to run it like that. I can't see anyone running it like that, people. I can only see a consortium of people coming in and trying to do it their way, which opens it up to all sorts of, interpretation of how good they are. We don't know. Like, I see what you mean, Conroy. Like, it could be good people coming in, it could be bad people, it could be a combination. It's not going to be another Roman Abramovich, though. And he was, as an owner of a football club, sensational.
Oh, for success.
Do you get what I mean?
Can't deny that.
Take away all his, as hard as it may be for some people, but I mean it in sort of, just
for will to win and not care about making money back. Not to, acid strip's the wrong word, but some people will buy a club and make money back. Roman Abramovich, I mean, like, there might be murky deals in that, don't get me wrong, Grizz, but from the surface, it looks like he would put 200 million, give Lampard 200 million just to get Chelsea competing again, at times. And that's the one thing about Chelsea, though, the wins, I think, is it 19 trophies in 9 years or something? It's crazy, something like
19 trophies in 20 years.
20 years. Like, I mean, absolutely agree. I think, see, like, and I know people have disagreed with this, but see, like, with Cobham and stuff they've got, the kind of sustainability to a certain extent, I know there's been a lot more done, but I mean, like, to make money from their academy, because they're definitely, they must be the most financially shrewd academy. Just with stuff like that, I
But
feel
even
like
that, Conroy, to run an academy like that, you need it funded. You need
no, yeah, I
constant.
agree,
You need
yeah.
constant. The people that are running that or coaches that are there, they're not. He was throwing money willy nilly at young players, at scouting, at everything.
And also as well, Grizz, you talk about sport washing. I think for me, it's like the most clear. Like we've all known it. Let's be real. Like as soon as Abramovich came in, we all knew he's a like. If you didn't, I think you've been watching. You know, you're a football fan who's been blind to
Definitely
it. All
now,
like,
man. It's definitely now. I think
yeah.
football fans are
Well,
definitely more aware now. I think, and
yeah.
educated, especially social
But
media and stuff.
I think we all knew when he came in, like this guy kept, like obviously had a lot of money from Russia, oligarch, like made his money from like we said, you know, the industry in Russia and etc. And you know had ties with Putin. It's like if you don't put two and two together, I'm a bit worried for you.
What planet are you living on?
Yeah, exactly. Like we all knew it, but I think as football fans, we wanted it because like it was a bit of a fairy tale, right? Like, you know, when like Mourinho came in, they did such a great, you know, it was that sort of fairy tale story where he won loads of trophies for Chelsea and when they won the Champions League. And like, it was like a sort of, well, in some quarters, it depends who you support, it was quite like a feel good story. But like, I think.
But it's, mate, because since then, no one's won stuff that quickly with money.
Yeah.
Like, no one's been that successful that quickly with money since then, since Mourinho with Chelsea. So you're right, I think, to a certain extent. That was still quite amazing when you
Man
think about it.
City, you could argue. Man
They
City,
took a long time, though. Literally, won players,
but
7 players, and they won the league that year with Mourinho.
but you got to remember, Roman Abramovich took over a team that was second, right? Was it? No.
I think
Sorry.
Ranieri, yeah. So I think
Sorry. Yeah.
But no, it's still reasonable, guys. But what I mean is just like I was meaning more like buying those players in, and then Mourinho first season straight away. Conte done it, I get that, but I just felt like since then we've seen other teams get money and take longer, and maybe
Yeah.
that was the time because it was United, Arsenal were kind of a bit lower. They were good, but they just came away from the Invincibles. So yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. It is
Yeah.
interesting. What do you think, guys? Because I actually listened to something today about Abramovich, and another reason for why he actually took a club in England at the time. I'm sure the sports washing as well, and this is probably sports washing to a certain extent. But he said having a big British asset or a European asset like that would avoid. It was a valuable thing, so it meant that if people tried to do something like this, it would be highly unlikely because of that. If you know what I mean.
That's the political aspect of it.
Yeah.
That is why he came to this country, mingled with the government, the hierarchy. This is why he's been turned a blind eye to it, so to speak, right? And this is even up to today, guys. Even up to today, he's had 2-3 weeks to try get rid of it quickly. But who gives that?
That's the thing.
People.
I've heard as well. He's got a property portfolio of 150 million. So imagine as the government or as people with, because think about it. Let's if we talk about politics, we obviously want to try and stick to football as much as we can, but we think about the politics side of it. Whereas, the British government, they want to do what's best for them, right? They want to make sure that whatever big assets they have in the country, they want it to not fall through or whatever. So, for example, with Abramovich having 150 million invested in properties, for them just to kick him out or just sanction him straight off the bat, that's going to hinder them. So they're probably thinking, right, what can we do to try and basically get him to leave on good terms? And that's basically what happened, right? And so they gave him, like you said, Grizz, a couple of weeks to try and sort it out. Obviously, it hasn't happened, and now they're like, right, we got to show the public we mean business, and that's why the sanctions have come in, and it's sort of like a power play, isn't it?
It's
from
absolutely
the government. So it's a very interesting topic. I think we can go on for hours about it, about all the different intricacies and things behind it all. But I think ultimately, sort of justice has prevailed finally, and Abramovich is sort of duly getting his sort
dues.
of his dues. And unfortunately, like we've said, unfortunately, people around him are now getting the brunt of it. The staff, the players, the fans. Unfortunately, but that's just by association. So it's just one of those things, right?
Shout out to Dave.
Roman was that's very good.
Very good. Dave's always coming out with quirky.
That was good. That's very
good. He's a legend. He's big up Dave. Look, everyone knows my feelings on Chelsea. Social media, Twitter knows my feelings on Chelsea. I don't hide it. It is what it is. You soak it up, Chelsea fans. You know what I mean? I've said it before. You've ruined my not ruined it, but you gave me a hard time in my teenage and uni life. So yeah, it's a bit of payback. Hopefully now. I mean, you know, as you guys have said, it's not going to be immediate payback. They're not going anywhere. They're not going to suddenly. The team's not going to turn to shit. We could probably. You know what? After doing all this and saying all this, I bet you we draw them in the FA Cup or the Champions League now. 100% guarantee that we draw them in the cup. You never know, and it's going to be madness. But look, you know,
guys, just before I know we're going to move on, just want to ask you one question because this is the most interesting one I heard. See, Tuchel, someone did say that Thomas Tuchel right now is probably he's up there. I mean, he's not the best coach in the world, but he's a highly regarded coach.
Yeah,
he is sought after, Grizz. So he's saying the right things, but really, if a lot happens and he doesn't know if he's coming or going, could you maybe see him leaving?
Yeah, he's the kind of coach that won't stick around when there's uncertainty, political unrest. Even if he feels morally obliged, you know, he is that kind of guy.
His stock's very high as well. Very high right now to get another job.
Absolutely. But I guess it really genuinely depends on what kind of ownership comes in and how he feels about it. I mean, I rate him. Banter, I do actually rate the guy. He's quality. He's a quality coach. Maz, rate him? Fan of him?
Yeah, mate. Well, look, he sat third in the table, 8 points clear of fourth. As it stands, with obviously Arsenal 2 games in hand. But I think, yeah, like we said, obviously for me, it's Pep and Klopp, so you know the top 2 in the country, and then I think he leads that second pack.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Of managers. Whereas, like, yeah, he is a world class manager for me, and he is a very, very good manager. And I think Grizz, you made a good point. It's interesting to see how he now reacts to this news. It's like because PSG left, didn't he, as well? I think under sort of murky circumstances. Or
I think, to be fair, Maz, it's a nightmare at PSG though, because I feel like you look how good he is with his players here.
It's
but
a poison chalice,
if you ever get full control at PSG, I really don't think you do. Yeah, I think he had like a 93% win record at PSG,
mad,
the highest ever as well. So.
But yeah, no, it's similar to Poch at PSG right now, right? Everyone's saying after last night, Poch is a fraud. You know, Poch can't win anything. But it's like, if you actually look at the PSG squad, there's a lot of egos. There's a lot of, you know, big time players that don't really gel together. You know, you've got Messi and Mbappe. Who else?
The thing is, man, as I said to Grizz, systems are important now, and you can maybe get away with 2 with Messi and Mbappe if you want. That was the first leg, but you can't have 3 nowadays. You can't have 3 players because, like, even look at what Argentina do with Messi. You have Martinez, and it's like a 4-4-2, and like even against Madrid, that works better. The beat Man City, I think, similar to that as well. You can't have 3 because then it's like you just get overrun. And to be fair,
they end up being passengers, don't they? They end up being,
and some PSG players are just like, I mean, in Pembe, I've always said, I don't know how he's at this level. I mean, it was even some of the stuff last night. Who else was it last night? Donnarumma. I mean, no words. And maybe it's a foul, but just kick it out. Just kick it out. I've seen Sunday league keepers just kick it out. Honestly,
it was a shambles. I mean, once they conceded that first goal, that mistake, they were mentally shot, and this is exactly what they're famous for, or infamous for, as the case.
And the best player, Marquinhos, our captain, passes the ball across the box for the third goal. No one's talking about that as well. It was just
we're not going to talk about it as well now.
Sorry.
Sorry. We deviated, but back to the managers. So yeah, obviously, Tuchel. For me, he leads that pack of like the thing. But with regards to will he stay or will he go now? It'll be interesting to see where his loyalties lie. If I don't think he'll jump ship immediately. I think he'll at least give it till, you know, a bit more clarity. Yeah, a bit more clarity, like, you know, as to what's just going on with sanctions, who's the new owners. I don't think he'll just jump ship, sort of just, you know, off the cuff. So I think he'll definitely. I think he's one of those guys who like to assess the situation, and then he'll be like, right, okay, this is not for me, or the new owners aren't for me, etc. And then he'll be on his way out. If
people have obviously reminded us that a lot of their players, an important part of their players, like centre backs, are out of contract.
Yeah,
and they're not allowed to renew. Yeah. So that's that. Like that's that. Like they should have.
That's it.
That's it, really. So only Silva. So they were lucky that they renewed Silva. Do you remember, guys? Silva was on a just a 1-year deal, wasn't he, or something on an option?
Yeah.
So they managed to renew him, which
and they didn't extend Aspilicueta by they had the option as well, but they never done it.
So imagine, guys, they didn't renew Silva. That would have been Silva, Aspi, Rudiger, Christensen. What the F? Then there would have been absolute hell.
In a back three as well.
I still think they're going to be in the shit. I genuinely do think that. The wage bill, everything about them is wrong. when he tried to flog it to people, it's 2022. As Maz was saying, if you're not gonna realize and sharpen up to the goings about what's happening in the world, you're dumb. And these billionaires that are looking to buy him knew, hold back. There's no need to go into it. There's absolutely no need to go back. And now they're going to be circling like hawks to get a deal, even if it is off the British government, because if he's a man of his word and like he says, I'm doing it for Chelsea, I don't want anything. Well, who does he care who the money goes to, whatever? He's not going to object. He's going to say, yeah, sell it. However much you want to sell it. I've washed my hands of it. Pardon the pun again. This is it. I'm done with this. But interesting, turbulent times at possibly the best club it could happen to. That's what I'm saying. Anchor wants to ask us, which Chelsea players would you take for your team? I'm going to come to the Brighton side.
I was gonna say, are you sure this is aimed at me?
Yeah,
I'll take every one of them. I think
every single one of them.
every single one.
But two. I'm going to limit you to two.
Two. Okay. Well, our problem areas at the moment is definitely we need a centre back. So I'll probably take one of Rudiger if I could. We'll take Rudiger. Obviously, he'd never come, but that would be my sort of dream one. And then, of course, a striker as well. And I mean, looking at Chelsea strike force at the moment, I mean, I don't know if it's any better than ours, to be honest. But I mean, Lukaku's just not been performing as he like to what we know. But if we talk about Lukaku on his day, of course, I'll take Lukaku.
Or get the best out of him, Mas.
Yeah, exactly. We'll get him to play potable. So yeah, Lukaku and Rudiger. There you go. I'll go for those two.
Conroy, two.
Realistically,
no, there's no realistic anymore.
I love Pulisic. No. I mean, realistically, we could get Pulisic, but I like Pulisic. I know he's injury prone, but I'm just thinking about realistic. I know he's injury prone. I just love him as a player. I do think his talent is ridiculous. But if you talk about who we need, probably off the top, I can't really see anyone else, but I'd probably say Pulisic, or the best player they probably got who would be a Havertz. You talk about someone fitting our system. A Havertz would work, wouldn't he, Grizz? Because he's kind of intelligent in that area.
If you want, and how many times do we talk about? In fact, we talked about it last night, didn't we? About the Bobby Firmino replacement. Kai Havertz is your man.
Obviously, Kante as well would be 100%, but that's not going to happen.
Well, Kante as well. No, but this is. Why do you have to be always so not going to happen?
Because I think there is business to be done, Grizz. I just think there's certain ones you're not going to get.
Just go for it. We can
go for Kante. Go for Kante. Kante and Havertz. The word?
Fire sale. Yeah, we can raid Chelsea. Yeah, we can raid Chelsea. Get anyone we want. Don't worry about that aspect. We can get anyone we want.
Kante and Havertz.
I tell you what, though. How's Mount for a shout? I love Mason Mount.
Actually, that's a great shout. We both love Mason Mount.
I think he scored tonight as well. I think.
And he likes Liverpool. He bigs us up as well.
Yeah, we pick him up more than Chelsea fans sometimes, Chris.
Exactly.
Chris is defending him.
Exactly. But listen, as I said, couldn't happen to a nicer club. Good luck, Chelsea, in the mud. Wash your faces with it. Do what you want with it. Anyway, Brighton, Liverpool. As Brighton, man, how's it been since you bloody got a result against us? Then you had a bit of a lull, and then you went on a good run.
Yeah.
Suddenly, last 5-6 weeks took to us.
Yeah, it's not been great, Grizz. I can't lie to you, mate. I was not looking forward to this one. I mean, look, without sugarcoating it, we've been on a terrible run of form. We haven't picked up any positive results of note in recent weeks. I mean, since beating Watford back in February, 12th of Feb, we've lost 4 on the trot. And notably against sides that you think we'd compete against: Burnley, Aston Villa, Newcastle, all teams that we should really be like either beating or competing with to a good standard. Like Burnley beat us 3-0 and absolutely played us for the park a couple of weeks ago. And it's like, they're picking up form, but at the same time, we can't let Burnley absolutely, walk us off the park scoring. They actually played really well. Like I can't even, not give them credit, but like in those kind of situations, you just can't let that happen. And it's frustrating because, like you said, we went on a really good run at the beginning of the season, mate. We were playing Palace to go top of the league. Like that game, if we'd beaten Palace, we would have gone top of the league. That was back in early in the season.
Mopai last minute
equaliser. That's the one. At Selhurst Park. And like great limbs. We've had some moments where it's like unbelievable limbs. Last minute. I think Southampton we scored a last minute equaliser. We've had some absolutely iconic moments, so to speak.
West Ham overhead kick.
West Ham. Mate, I was there in the way in there. That was incredible. So like we've had our moments, but then at the same time, those are just their equalisers. So we've only got us a point. We haven't got the 3 points, and we're that nearly team. We're that nearly team. We play some really good football on our day. But we just don't finish our chances. And that when it comes to becoming a good side or a top half Premier League side, that's where we really lack. And if we don't get a striker in next season that can score goals and take chances, it's just going to be the same old stories. Like, play pretty football, put a ball, whatever you want to call it, but just don't get an end result, don't get the 3 points. And I think, that's where we've really lacked, especially the last few weeks. We just haven't been playing well either. Like the put a ball's not been non-existent. And I think Dan Burn, as much as we sort of joked about it at the time, him going to Newcastle, that was huge.
I was just going to come to that. I was just going to come to that. Yeah.
Him leaving. If you told me
you had no choice, right? But you had no choice. Right?
Yeah, basically. So they offered us 15 million, which is amazing for Dan Burn, and he's a homegrown Newcastle lad. So for him, it was just a no-brainer. Like, to go to your hometown club, and for us, 15 million for I think he's like 28, something like that. Like,
how much did you guys get him for?
I think we got him for pennies from Wigan. We signed him from Wigan. I can't remember how much. Maybe 3 million, 5 million, if that.
Yeah, it shows what Potter's done with him though. Like, see his footwork since he's actually. I said at the time, I thought it was a great signing for Newcastle. I think like he can play left back. He shouldn't play left back, but he does because
he's not left back.
But he can cover, and I think he's the one thing I thought about it, mate. I thought I agree with you, but then I thought like, I've seen Duffy play, and I know he's good at strengths, but ball playing, like, to be fair to Potter, he gets a tune out of him, he gets a job out of him. But let's be honest. I think, would you say Webster and Dunk or Webster and Veltman's your ideal pair then?
Yes. So defensively, again, this has been like. So this was actually our best asset we had, like defensively. So we had Ben White, obviously went to Arsenal. We then had obviously Dan Burn, who then sort of stepped up, and now he's gone to Newcastle. So we've lost 2 key players there in the defensive units, and especially like you said earlier, with regards to playing 5 at the back. There you go, 3.2 million from Wigan. Losing those 2 was key, because then we were left with Dunk, Webster, Veltman, as you said, but then one of those players gets injured or suspended, which has happened like multiple times now since Burn left. We're screwed. We're fucked, because he doesn't trust the young players. We've got a young guy called Hayden Roberts who's always on the bench but never gets a game. So Potter obviously doesn't trust him or doesn't feel he's ready. So it's like you sell those 2 players, but why do you not bring someone in to replace them? Or, why didn't you recall a couple of our loan players? Like we've got Leo Ostergaard out in Genoa, who plays in Serie A, starting week in, week out in Serie A. We've got Van Heck at Blackburn, who just won Player of the Month and has been incredible for Blackburn. So it's like, why not recall them, or at least buy someone to then cover the immediate, aftermath that we've lost Dan Burn and Ben White. So it's just frustrations, because
a lot of money as well. A lot of money you made from there.
Exactly.
50 million. Wow.
But funny enough, Grizz, actually on our podcast, we actually mentioned, I think in the spending league, I think we're like 6th in the Premier League, which is mad. Like in the last, I think 5 years, we're up there. We're definitely like top 8. So we it's not like we don't spend money, and we definitely aren't shy of spending money.
But your recruitment's very good, though, to be fair.
Yeah, our recruitment's brilliant. It's just sometimes what frustrates me with Brighton is we sign players for the future and just not for the now at the moment. So we've signed these incredible young, like Caicedo, who's a South American, Ecuadorian international, and he's like meant to be. Well, he is incredible, but he's meant to be like the next big thing. Like, all the Tim Vickery, I think, who's a South American specialist. He's like, best thing since sliced bread. So we have, we have these great players for the future, but it's like the right here, right now, we don't. Like we're a bit strapped. And before this transfer window, January just gone, I was like quite comfortable. But as soon as we lost Burn, it was like this big hole that quite literally a big hole missing.
But look, if you've spent like. I know Conroy said that you've got very good recruitment, and you have, because none of these players we've heard of before, right? Until
Cucurella is genuinely one of the best left backs in the league.
Cucurella is unreal.
Last couple of seasons, these players have become household names. some fantastic players now, right? A lot of teams will be eyeing them up. Why not? Why hasn't he, or has he? Tell me otherwise. Why haven't you found a prolific goal scorer? Because it's so apparent to me, you, Conroy, sitting in our lounges and bedrooms, right? Your amazing recruitment team, Graham Potter, must know you need a prolific goal scorer.
Yeah.
Who's the ones that you've gone through last couple of seasons that not made the mark? Tell us.
So we it's funny. It's not like we haven't tried to go for players. So, for example, Darwin Núñez, you guys know him at Benfica, and then now I think he's linked with Man City now. I think
Conroy's laughing because I don't rate him.
But, you don't rate Darwin Núñez.
But Europe
Abby
does.
brought him
Everyone
up, and
does.
Chris was like, no.
No, everyone rates him. I just got my own theory on players.
Yeah.
Like, everyone else rates him. Yeah, he's very highly thought of.
Yeah, exactly. And like, for example, apparently we were super close to signing him before he went to Benfica. Apparently we were like, I think he'd even had talks with the club, but just basically didn't finalise for whatever reason. Obviously Benfica, better option than Brighton. So like, it's not like we haven't tried to go and sign players. It's just they've either not materialised, the players just not gone for it. Like, we were linked with Nketiah as well. Who else? Yeah, like there's been a few players out there that we've sort of approached, or just things just haven't gone through. But we've just signed Undav, who's a Belgian striker. Plays for
scored a lot of goals, that guy, didn't he?
Yeah, mate. I think he's got one of the best goals and assist records in Europe. But amongst Salah, with the top dogs. But my only worry is he's coming until next season, but he plays in the Belgian league now. With all due respect.
Sometimes that can be good though, mate. There's been some success stories from Belgium. It's not all.
Yeah. Oh no, it's not. Yeah, no. It's definitely. It's just I'm a bit of a pessimist, Conroy. So excuse my pessimism.
But you get so many opportunities with Brighton, mate. You even in bad. I know you're in bad form now, but that's about a year and a half from when. Listen, you've seen them more than me, but when I watched them, I think you played great football for about a year and a half, and I don't know. See, the thing is, I want to ask you. See, Mopai. Potter obviously really likes Mopai, and this is the thing. I think Mopai's going to score 10 goals this season. That's actually a pretty good return. And I know you need someone who's a bit more prolific than that, but that's not terrible. So do you think it's because of his pressing and his movement, that's why Potter stands by him? So until he gets like the ideal replacement, he's not going to change it?
Oh, so this is a great point, and it's a great question. And as a Brighton fan, I don't think we need to replace Mopai. We need to supplement him with another striker. So it's all about getting someone alongside Mopai for me personally, like playing. Because like you said, he's brilliant at pressing. He's a nightmare. He's a shithouse, which is one of the best things I love about him. He can really rattle up the opposition, and on his day, he's a good finisher. It's just he's not consistent enough with his finishing. So what I'd love to see is someone alongside him, and hence why I think a great partnership would be a nice target man who he can just bounce off and he can play with. So it's not. So in my opinion, it's not about replacing Mopai. It's about finding someone who can play alongside him, which you never know. Undav might be that guy. Whether he is, will be seen. But yeah, to answer your question, I think it's all about finding the right player to go inside alongside Mopai, rather than replacing him.
Listen, like you're doing quite well for that, to be fair, mate. Next season you get that striker in and you'll be finishing 6th. Honestly, the chances you create.
I don't know, mate. It's just very frustrating.
What's the situation with our good old Welbs?
Welbs, do you know what?
That guy Welbs.
I'm not a big fan, Grizz. I'm not gonna lie to you.
He's gonna score now.
No, do you know what it is? Against Chelsea, he scored a great header. Was it again another equaliser that we got at Stamford Bridge? Funny enough, and he's come up trumps in some key moments. However, he's just not. His finishing is just not consistent. Again, so many chances where he could have scored and just missed them, and he's just so injury prone. It's like Lallana. Lallana is an incredible player, but just always injured. And it's like, what's the point of having these great players if they're just never going to play? And unfortunately for me, Welbeck is just too injury prone, and he does miss quite a few chances as well when presented with good opportunities.
We're probably getting to the sort of the likely lineups from your aspect as well. So that's probably a question we're going to come back to you. It's got a super chat that we want to get through, and he says, Nicholas Vargas says, is Graham Potter's last season at Brighton, do you think?
It's the most asked question to any Brighton fan. Last season, do you know what? I don't think it is. I don't think this season's his last. I don't think he'll move this summer unless something goes drastically wrong at the top. So obviously we lost Ashworth to Newcastle. We just lost Morling as well, who was our academy coach or director. We just lost him as well, and apparently there's rumours he's going to Newcastle as well. And then there's obviously Bloom and Barber at the top. Now, if something happens up there, maybe Potter will be like, right, I've had enough. Like, we're losing everyone. What's the point? We're sort of mid-table, not really looking like we've really made massive strides from last season. We've made progress, but not huge strides. So unless something big happens there, I don't think he'll leave this season. I think he'll give us one more season after next, and then I think he'll cut his losses if we've, again, not made any progress. We're not getting to Europe, like a Conference League, for example. I think he'll cut his losses and yeah, there you go.
Man from Slough NBA 786 says, nervous, man. Potter excites. Battle of the Force Nines. Conroy.
Yeah.
How often have we spoke about this?
Oh.
And Brighton being a kryptonite? Maybe I'm exaggerating. Maybe I'm getting a bit OTT, but they do give us a hard time. And they're the one team that actually tries to play with the same style and formation, even knowing that they've got inferior players, but they're so brave in the way he sets them up. They still play the same way against us, and sometimes it catches us off guard, like it did in the first game at Anfield. Are you anticipating something similar, or are you one of those that says Klopp is usually a good learner, and when we've had a bad game against someone, we do come back hard and strong?
Yeah, I think I agree with that, Grizz. I think the thing is with Brighton, it's like, as you said, see the type of players you get, they're not always like everyone knows them, but I think they're always good players. So they're brave, but they're also they're good players who can play a system brilliantly. And I feel like that's why Liverpool at times, especially on the Potter, even the 1-1 draw last season, they're always, even when the Brighton beat us with, I think Stephen Alzate's goal.
Yeah.
I know the team we had then, there was a lot of injuries, but I feel like he's very good. He's very good at changing formations as well. So I don't think Klopp goes into this knowing exactly what formation Brighton are going to play. If it's a 4-1-4-1, a 4 kind of the 4-5-1 you've done in the past, but I know you've played a 3 as well. Probably not the now with the lack of centre backs, mate. But I feel like what he'd done with Trossard at the start of the season, I've used that. I've referred to that about 7 times this season when other teams who've ended up not doing as well because they've tried to play a big number 9 where Van Dijk, Matip or Kanate just eat that up. Whereas bringing Trossard in, I thought was great, to be honest. I thought it was great tactics. And genuinely, Brighton deserve the praise that Inter Milan have been getting during the last couple of days. They deserve that praise because they actually did, on that day, probably should have won the game, right? Whereas Inter, we hit the post 3 times, but that's just Twitter for you now, trying to find a chink in Klopp's armour. But I do feel that Klopp will learn from this. For me, I still see it being tight though, because I just think that they're both good tactically. I think Liverpool get the win, but I do think it's going to be one of them where it's like not a high scoring game for me. I think the fact that Brighton are in poor form now is actually a really good thing for Liverpool. And I don't know if that's the biggest compliment I can give them, mate. I genuinely think that is, because if Brighton are at it and the amount of games Liverpool have had, I'm a bit more. I'm nervous, but I'm a bit more worried. But I still think we'll be okay there now.
I wouldn't worry, mate. The way we're playing. I mean, listen. I got asked.
We're not falling for this. You do know this.
No, Chris.
Honestly, this last week about West Ham. West Ham were brilliant.
Chris,
we're not falling for this.
Honestly, mate. Honestly, if you watched us play in the last 3 weeks, like,
so what is it? So which part are you worried about most? Like in terms of your. All right, mate, we know the strengths of ours, but but looking at your team. Is there any significant injuries that are causing it? Or for example, let's get into it. Let's get into your predicted lineup for your team then. And is there any major players that you feel are so crucial that they're missing and it's causing an issue?
We'll tell Klopp, Maz. Klopp watches us. We'll tell him. The lineup. There you go. Right,
well, Adam Webster definitely is a big miss. So he's out with, I think, groin injury at the moment. So he's missing. So there we go. We're now down to Veltman and Dunk at centre half. With, if we want to play 3 back, we can't, because Cucurella for a few weeks was playing as a left. You haven't
got a third centre back.
Well, we do. Roberts, but Hayden Roberts. He's a young guy, but he just
Who's
never
been playing last lineup. So what was your last lineup?
Yeah, I'll get it for you now. 2-6.
Because that's interesting. Because we know that he's an absolute disciple of three centre backs, isn't he? Or has he been changing?
So last game we had Dunk, Duffy, Veltman as the three centre backs. But Duffy's just I think Conroy, you touched on it earlier. He's just not very good anymore.
He can defend, but he just when it comes to passing,
basically exactly because of the system we play and the way Potter likes to play by passing it from the back, he doesn't have those attributes, unfortunately. So stylistically for the team, he's just not fit, and it just doesn't work. So yeah, we got Duffy, Veltman, Dunk as the centre backs, and then we had Lamptey on the right wing back and Cucurella left wing back.
Is that likely to be the same?
Most probably, considering Webster's out. However, because Duffy didn't play very well against Newcastle, I wouldn't put it past Potter to be like, right, let's go back to 4 at the back. We'll play with Duncan, Veltman as the centre halves. We'll have Lamptey right back, and we'll have Cucurella left back.
What did they do against us at Anfield?
I think it was a 4. I don't think it was a 3 because they played Trossard as a false 9 and put Mopai on the bench. So I think it was like a 4.
I think it was as well.
I say 4-5-1, but there's probably adaptations in there. But I think because you had Basuma,
and Whipple,
and because he scores that goal, and then another midfielder as well.
Yeah, you're right.
Was it Lallana? Was it Lallana?
Yeah, Lallana started.
Yeah, I think Maz is
so it was Sanchez and then Veltman, Duffy, Dunk, Cucurella as a back 4, and Wepu, Basuma as DMs, and then March, Lallana, Moda, and Trossard. They were the starting lineup. So yeah, it looks like we played 4 at the back with Duffy and Dunk as the centre halves. Now, I think in a back 4, Dunk's actually all right. Like he's fine because you don't have to really rely on being a good passer of the ball. You just got to defend, right? So if we play 4 at the back, I wouldn't be too against having Dunk and Duffy, because when we first came to the Prem, they were an elite partnership. Like they were, for me, genuinely one of the best, sort of outside the top 6, one of the best partnerships we had in the league. And to see them back, I wouldn't be too against it. But in a back 5, I wouldn't put it, because I don't want to see Cucurella as a left centre back, because that's just not where he should be playing. He should be playing.
Generally one of the signings of the season, mate. Honestly, it's not getting talked about enough. What a player!
Yeah, he's incredible. 15 million from Getafe, like just incredible.
So if we, because I think he will revert to a 4. I generally think that. Then, if that's the case, what you're saying in terms of, but you're saying Duffy wasn't all that. So there's no chance.
Last week against Newcastle, against Newcastle, he wasn't great at all.
I think he's going to pack out the midfield like he does against us always. Is there anyone missing from that midfield that you played against us that day?
No, and Wepu, who scored that unbelievable goal against you guys, the one that he's back fit. Yeah, he's back fit. He's back fit for you. Yeah. But I don't see him. I don't see him starting at all, because he's been out for quite a while. So he won't chuck him back in straight away.
That's a good thing, mate, because that was some goal.
Yeah, it'll most likely be Basuma and Alzate. If Basuma got dropped, because he's been off it since the Spurs game. In the FA Cup, he's been awful.
Again,
his mind's not been on it.
In the big games, the last time
man of the match, Chris, man of the match.
I saw him against Chelsea. Was it Man City? Who did you play
Chelsea,
last?
I think it was 1-1 at Stamford Bridge.
But even the game they lost, I can't remember now. It was one of the big boys. It was Chelsea or Man City. Yeah. It was definitely Chelsea, but I'm not sure. Did you play Man City afterwards or before them? But either way,
Man City was before.
Either way, Man United as well.
Man United, yeah.
He absolutely bosses it in big games. I think Conor knows. I think he's my number one if I had a choice, and he didn't have the personal issues going off, whatever, if they affect him or whatever. I don't know. Is there anything ongoing? Has he got? Or
so all that's been pretty much cleared now. The court issues have all been sort of cleared up now.
Oh, it's cleared.
Yeah, it's been cleared, but I think he's got one eye on a move, because let's be real, he's going to most 99% leave this summer. So I think he's got one eye. But in my brain, I'm like, well, if you've got one eye on leaving, why don't you put in performances to catch the eye of other clubs? Whereas I feel like he's gone the other way. Whereas he's just, like I said, against Spurs in the FA Cup where we lost 3-1, he was like clear, like he was incredible. He was so good. And then since then he's been awful, and he got dropped against Newcastle last game. So whether Potter will bring him back, which I'm sure he will, it'll be Alzate and Basuma in that holding role. And for me, interestingly, like I got asked, what's the weak area, so to speak, of Liverpool? And after about 10 minutes of deliberation of trying to find your weak spot, I finally decided on the midfield, which is like, again, that's like saying, you know, what's the worst part of a banoffee pie, because it's all brilliant. But it's like,
That sounds
you know,
great right now, mate. That
yeah,
sounds so good, man.
it's like the midfield for me is the only area where I can see us maybe like having a chance. Does that make sense? Like,
Yeah,
the
in Anfield in
only area,
transitions, mate, you were good. Like, you caught us in transitions. I thought you were
yeah.
good.
So where did we go wrong then, Conroy? If that's the case, right? If Maz, as the opposition, is saying the one possible area we could get at you, or I don't know if he meant bully you or whatever, but
No, like
let's just put words in his mouth.
Like have a chance, you know. Like,
Let's
basically have a
put-
chance. Yeah, you know.
Let's put words in his mouth. So, do you know what I mean? So,
Dominate.
yeah, dominate us. No, but he's got a point though, because they did. I thought they dominated us in
thought they're very
midfield in
good.
that first game. Where did we go wrong in that first game then? Because we were could have been 3-4-0 up in that first half, but we weren't.
It did get me start as a kind of basketball match.
It was Oxlade, wasn't it? Oxlade, Chamberlain.
Henderson scores the first goal.
So
Salah scores
Henderson
the
was
first
playing.
goal.
So Henderson, Ox, and who was the third midfielder? If someone let us know in the chat.
Was it
if they know.
Fabinho? I think it was Fabinho.
Let us know who our third midfielder was.
Because Thiago wasn't available.
I've got it. It's Jones, Henderson, Keita.
Oh, there you go. Completely wrong.
Three.
And
Keita
went off.
Yeah, injured.
Ox came
And
on.
as soon as Keita went off, we lost complete control. So Jones, Ox, and Henderson was our three. It will be a total different three this time. Is that key then, Conroy? As well,
so.
do you think so as well?
Yeah, I think so. Like all jokes aside, I think the transitions Brighton is very impressive, and they will play and they will find the spaces. Like Sanchez will not play out from the back. He will, but not out. If there's a ball on, he'll play a diag, and I don't mean like a hoof. I mean an actual diag to Cucurella Lamptey, and then they've done that a lot at Anfield. I do think. I don't know because of the injury, Grizz. I don't know if you confirm is Thiago any chance he can play at all. I looked at the notes before and it said he was a doubt, but I wasn't sure if that's been confirmed. Never had a chance to check before we came on.
Yeah, Thiago missed training today, but that could be just as a precaution. But we'll find out tomorrow in the press conference.
Yeah, we'll assume Thiago's out then, but I still think having Fabinho in that DM there, and to be honest, Henderson's control recently, I think, has been keeping it simple and being much better. But I think Fabinho with the transitions will help, because I thought Bissouma was spinning and just like getting in so quickly in that first game to just attack our two centre backs. So I feel like that will make a difference as well. So I think the midfield is going to be key, absolutely. And I do think it's not like one of them. I feel like if Klopp went with that free again, I feel like they could win that battle again. So I think it is important who he picks. I think we might get away with not playing Thiago, obviously, but I think Fabinho, Henderson, and who the third one, I know we're going to get in the lineups, but potentially right now I'm thinking third one, possibly Naby. He's probably been recent, would you say?
I personally think it picks itself, Conroy.
Yeah.
I think it's Naby. He's a shoo-in, especially the fact that he didn't start against Inter, the fact that he came on and we assumed control straight away, the fact that in the first game Naby was probably the star man before he went injured. I think it's nailed on, and I agree. I think for me, Bissouma always stands out in when you're looking for, and even Mbappe was so good last time. So if you're saying Alzate and Bissouma are gonna be sort of the two in midfield, are you saying like it's going to be like a 4-2-3-1?
Yeah,
I don't know.
It'll most probably be a 3 actually. So he'll probably have Jakub Moder alongside Alzate and Bissouma in a 3.
Moder's been good. Talk to us about Moder. What kind of player?
Yeah, Jakub Moder's brilliant. He was linked with Bayern Munich.
What position is he, Maz? Because I've looked into this and he's got a few positions under his name.
Yeah, he's I think is it what they call it FM? Is it a Mazzala or Mazzala, whatever it's called? He loves to be all around the pitch. He's a sort of a centre midfielder, left winger. Like he can play behind the strikers. Like he can. He's very adaptable and he's a brilliant player. Just one thing in his finish is get better at is his finishing. But he's brilliant. He's very, very good, Moder. He can, like you said, he can get into little pockets. He's a great industrious player. He's very hardworking. And he's got great feet for a big lad as well. So he's a fantastic player. Still, I think he's 22 years of age, so still got a little growing.
Just a Brighton signing, Maz, isn't it? Just a typical great signing.
Exactly. And yeah, like I said, he's linked with Bayern Munich prior to signing with us, so he's clearly, been touted by the big boys as one for the future. And yeah, he's a great player. So it's quite a strong three: Moda, Alzate, and Bissouma. Be interesting though how they come up against your supporting the defense. I think that's going to be the key attributes, because whoever plays up front for you guys, whether it's Jota, Diaz, Salah, Firmino, Mane, like no matter who starts, they've got to be able to try and handle those players coming at them, like especially Diaz, the way he's so direct and the way he runs at players. Like we don't have anyone like that at all. We don't have a player that can run at players and teams and cause havoc. Whereas, for example, Diaz, Salah, Mane, they're all very direct. Jota even, they can run at you and cause havoc. So I think it's key that the DMs or the sort of defensive-minded midfielders really stick to their job and cover that back line, because otherwise it could be a cricket score, to be honest.
It's not going to be a cricket score, Conroy, is it? Maz is leading us down this.
No, it's. I promise you. You'll score at least 3.
Well, I hope so. I'm going to be there, and I'll text you every goal.
We'd probably say that's one of our best wins of the season if we went to the Amex and won 3-0.
Yeah, exactly. Absolutely. I personally think Mbappe is going to start. And I'm not often wrong, even when it comes to opposition lineups. So I think he's going to start tomorrow. I think Bissouma is going to start, and I think Moda is going to start. I think he's going to throw an extra midfielder in there. I don't know who. You're saying that Zate is a permanent? Yeah, he's
been playing brilliantly. Yeah.
So let's say. So I'm going to assume he's going to be the other one. So that's 4 I've picked that I think your midfield is going to consist of, and then obviously with the 4 at the back. Which leaves 2 attackers or forwards.
I think he'll play Trossard. Do you think so, Maz? Because he done so well last time.
Trossard, again, he's very hit and miss. He's had his dips in form and stuff. It'll be like, I love McAllister. I don't know if you guys know much about Alexis.
Yeah, Argentinian Gary McAllister. Yeah, he's good. No, he's Argentinian. He sounds like he's from down the road. Sounds like lives down the road. The McAllister. Yeah, for me.
Alexis McAllister. He's an Argentinian 23-year-old sort of attacking midfielder, and yeah, he's brilliant. Like he's been called up to the Argentinian national team. Training with the likes of Messi and that. So, he's clearly got very good talent, and he scored a few decent goals as well in the Premier League. So I would love to see him start. Whether he will, because he's Potter doesn't really like. I don't think he'll start him against Liverpool, but I'd love to see him sort of him and Trossard, and then maybe I don't know whether I want Mopé, but probably not. He probably rest Mopé actually. Again, it's quite tough with Potter. Like he likes to rotate. He doesn't. You won't have like 3 or 4 weeks with the same lineup. He just doesn't do it. So it's a bit of a guessing game even for Brighton fans as to what team will start. Because we've got Pascal Gross as well, who creates a lot of chances, but so a few Brighton fans don't rate. We like to use our squad depth, not defensively, but when it comes to midfielder and attack, we like to rotate.
So who's going to be your forward then? If we're assuming is Welbeck injured or just out of favour?
He's not injured. No. He's back. He doesn't usually start. He usually comes off the bench in games.
But is Mopé going to start, do you think?
It's a tough one.
Because I'm interested, because I think you're going to pick. I think it possibly could be Mopé because of his movement, and he's not really a target man. And then I think you'll pick Trossard and just the other one you just mentioned.
Yeah. Sorry, Trossard and
McAllister.
Yeah.
No, I think it's going to be the other one.
Welbeck?
We just spoke about Trossard and the one you said people think he's not done very well attacking midfielder. My mind's
Gross. Pascal
Gross. Pascal Gross. Yeah.
I think Gross and Trossard will be your floating attackers behind Mopé. I think that's how you're going to set up. I'll be amazed if it's not. That's how you set up. And then I think you'll have 3. I know I picked 4. I think you'll have 3 dogs of war in your central areas, which are Bissouma and Wepo, and then Alzate or Moda.
Yeah, one of those 2. It's going to be interesting. It'd be interesting to see, because I can get what Grizz is saying, Maz. Obviously, you have a different opinion, possibly, but at Anfield, I get we played Trossard in the false nine, but you might.
Mm.
Do you think you might play Mopai because it's at Amex and because
Yeah,
he brings a
because
different option as well?
obviously, I think he definitely. Well, this goes without saying and sort of stating the obvious, but obviously the approach is going to be completely different going to Anfield than it is at the Amex. But I feel like, do you know what? I feel
That's
like
your best way. If
Yeah,
that's the way to beat us and
yeah,
frustrate us and dominate us, why not do it at Amex as well?
but I feel like I don't know why, but I feel like you're going to be much more expressive and a bit more relaxed because you're away from home and you're at Amex. I feel like it's actually going to be in your favour playing away at the Amex because this is me as a Brighton fan. The atmosphere is woeful. Like it's not intimidating in any stretch of the imagination, and like it's not exactly like you think, oh god, I'm going to the Amex. Do you know what I mean? It's not like that at all. It's very corporate. It's very nice. It's very picturesque. It's in the
Was
middle
it
of
bouncing
nowhere.
against Chelsea though, Maz? I watched. Obviously, I wasn't there, but it looked quite good against Chelsea.
Yeah, look, we've had our moments, against Man City when we beat them last season. I think it was 3-2. It was like
Dan
first
Burns
game.
scored it.
That big Dan Burns scored the winner. Like, we've had our little moments where like the crowd's sort of, been there and made some noise. But yeah, in terms of an atmosphere and a place you don't think of, Amex, what a tough place to go. Like no one thinks that when they think about the Amex. So I feel like for Liverpool, I think that's a big positive is the fact that you go to the Amex and you can sort of just play your free-flowing football that you guys do so well. And like, I feel like even though you've played quite a lot of games in the last few weeks and fatigue might come into it and rotation, etc., but I feel like you'll be able to just sort of relax and be like, right, let's just play our game. We know we can play. And the way we're playing at the moment, we're pretty shit. So I feel like you can come at us. And if you start well, especially in like that first 10 minutes, if you set the tempo, you set the pace, and you really put it on us, I feel like that's just going to set the tone. Because I've noticed with us, if the first 10 minutes don't go our way and we don't, set up the way we want to set up, it's game over. Like we just don't get into the flow and we just don't get into the game. And so if you, in that first 10 minutes, if you just stifle us and really get at us, I think it's game over and you guys will comfortably win 2-3-0.
Conroy, I think it's going to be hard. I think, as Brighton are one of the few teams, as I've said again, that will try to play their system, that try to play their football regardless of how we set up. How do you set up then? So if we're guessing that it's going to be Fabinho, Henderson, Keita in midfield, usual back four, barring possibly one surprise. How do you set up front then?
Well, this is the question, Chris.
Exactly. I mean, look, if we're all right, we're going to put Maz on the spot. Maz, is it going to be three centre backs or is it going to be four at the back?
I'm going to go
on the spot.
Four. I'm going to go four.
Four at the back with Tarek Lamptey and Cucurella as your fullbacks.
Yeah.
Right, Conroy, if that's how they're going to set up, then how do you set up with a front?
Yeah, I see what you've done there.
You see what I've done there?
See what you've done there. Because we spoke about it last one. Maz, you weren't here, but we basically had this is why we can't sell Bobby Firmino in our last post-match stream. And it was against the back three or in the past. But because it's a four, I feel like I'd call it the dynamic, but the direct front three, as you said, Maz, with Diaz, Mane, and Salah. So basically, with that, you've not got a Jota or a Firmino. Who Jota does like a passable version of Firmino, like holding up through the middle to link up. Not as good, but he can have quite good games at that. But I think because it's a four, we tend to, because of their free quite direct. They're obviously dynamic as well, but you tend to get space quicker, and you don't have to take the ball, be patient, break it down. So I think it'll be that, Grizz. However, I would not be surprised because he does this with Jota. People are like, oh, Jota won't start this game, and he starts him because he maybe had a poor game previously. Because Jota is quite hot and cold like that, Grizz. He's had a game where he's been poor, then he plays Arsenal and he's man of the match. So it could happen. But
a tough one. I think
it'll be those three.
Which ones?
Mane, Salah, and Diaz. Mane probably in the 9.
Which three, Maz, would you like to face? Which three would you not like to face? Knowing your centre-backs, knowing your full-backs, knowing the form they're in and the formation you're going to play. What a fucking question.
That is a great question.
Can everyone like the stream just for that question? Apparently, we haven't got 100 likes, which is embarrassing.
Come on, guys.
I'm actually embarrassed. Do you know what I mean?
I've got a comment I'll bring up when we get to 100 likes as well. Yeah. I'll bring this comment up.
Yeah. Right. So now this is a tough one, So who would I like to? So who would I like?
Not like to face.
not like to face. So,
both. Either way.
yeah, both. Okay, so I wouldn't like to face a front three of Mo Salah, Sadio Mane, and now this is really tough because it's either Jota or Diaz. Now, I'm going to go Jota just simply because he scored 12 in 24. Like I know Diaz has just joined, but I'm going to go Jota simply just because he's proven it so far this season. Now that's who I wouldn't like to face. Now, I mean, this question, I mean, I suppose it's quite self-explanatory. I'm just going to pick your worst players you've got in attack. So I'm going to go with Divock Origi.
And then, he's got a cheeky one.
Yeah,
my social media, mate. Honestly, don't log on for a few days now.
We'll go Divock Origi, Minamino.
No, he won't be in the squad, so you can't pick Minamino. So I'm helping you. I'm forcing you to make a
non-applicable, not applicable.
Not applicable. Yeah.
Okay. Who is going to be in the squad? Minamino is going to be in the squad?
No, I said no.
Sorry. I thought you said Origi.
No, just because our bench, like we have to usually take two out of the bench.
So the other two's got to be out of the big five.
Okay, all right. So then, I suppose then it's got to be Diaz then. Diaz, Jota, and Firmino. Oh, is he injured, Firmino?
No, he's in.
I'll give you Firmino.
Yeah, Firmino, Jota, and Diaz. I think that's your worst three out of your best, if that makes sense.
Yeah, we know what you mean.
I get that.
It's a hard one.
Best chance to nullify. Well,
I feel like we could nullify Firmino. I feel like he's a great player. I'm not contesting that. He's brilliant. He does his job brilliantly. He links up play brilliantly, and he's a great striker. However, I feel like out the strikers you've got, I feel like we can nullify him the best alongside.
There's games for Firmino, mate. We speak about this all the time. I think this one you don't necessarily need a Firmino in this game.
Yeah.
I think Firmino is starting.
There you go. That's why. Listen. I would not be against that. I just think we might have enough, Chris, but we'll see.
I think Firmino will start in this game. I think Jota will start in this game.
He's not going to drop Salah. You know he's not going to drop Salah. Come on, we all know he's going to play Salah.
I genuinely believe that. I think Salah could do with the rest simply because of amount of games.
I agree, but he won't drop him. I guarantee he will not drop him for a game.
Tough. It's tough. You're right. Who are
you dropping, Grizz? Mane or Salah? You got to drop one of them.
I don't think...
He's not dropping Salah until that news about the contract's out.
I think Mane is one of the best pressers against you lot, and we need that because how many times in the past as well he's got hold of your mistakes and we've managed to create a chance and a goal out of it. And then if Naby's playing, he's got such a good understanding with Sadio as well. So if I've got Naby starting, I've definitely got Sadio starting. But on form, I wouldn't pick Sadio because I think he's shit. Bang out of form, and I know people are going to come for me, but I'm here for it. Sadio Mane is not playing well.
He's been scoring, but his overall game's not been good. Yeah,
he hasn't. I think Bobby, Salah, and one other. Okay, on the spot.
Yeah, you press me, Grizz. We're going to press you. Go on. You got to pick three.
I think it's going to be Salah, Bobby. Diaz.
Yeah, because Diaz didn't start, did he? During the week, he didn't start, did he?
Pi May in the chat makes a good point. It is I know obviously you're involved in all the competitions still, but it is the league which you're 3 points behind City. And if you do get a draw, like if we do get a point against you, that's what I'm saying. So I think Klopp will see this as like a must win. So he'll play the best 11 he can.
We've got Arsenal 3 days later as well. Yeah. We've got such a mad schedule away.
But Diaz is in the best form, generally out of all of them. Diaz is 100%. If it's just on form, he played 10 minutes during the week, and he's not done anything wrong. He's been brilliant. So. If it's on form,
just loads of no-look passes, right?
Yeah.
No, he's good, mate. Listen, I'm not the biggest fan of doing that all the time, but he's very, very good.
I think, do you know what? I've got a theory. I think it's a tick, not a tick, but I don't think he does it. It's not like an intentional no-look. I think he generally has a thing, because Phil Foden does it as well, right? You guys know. Yeah, Phil Foden does the same thing. So I think it's just a natural body, like where he passes. His neck.
That's not a mad take, mate, because he's done it at times where I'm like, it's just a
why have you done it?
Yeah. Why are you doing that?
I genuinely think it's like a just a physical sort of ticky.
It could be. You're right. Yeah. Big K, shout out to Big K from the channel as well. He calls it the owl. Like some people have that, the owl look,
yeah.
or like Thiago does it as well. Like they're always looking there because Diaz is so weird. But look, I've said it now. I'm going to stick to it. I think Jota and Mane miss out. I think Jota and Mane miss out. So I think Salah, Bobby, and Diaz start, which will be a surprise because, as people are saying, Mane is normally a shoo-in in a must-win game. And this is a must-win game. Absolutely, I agree with you, Naz. But yeah, I think that's going to be the front three. What's the predictions?
I'll kick us off. I did the predictions on our channel the other day. So I think it's going to be 3-1 Liverpool.
Oh. What did you predict in the first game at Anfield? Can't remember.
I think it was like a 2-0 loss or 2-1 loss.
So how fucking wrong was you in that first game?
Well, 2-2, mate. I wasn't too far off.
It was.
Laz, what was it like when you went 2-0 down and then you came back?
I'll tell you what. I actually so when Mane's goal got disallowed in the first half, when it went in, I was like, oh, game over, finished, done. But then as soon as VAR intervened and it didn't get given, I was like, do you know what?
Hello.
Hello. We're still in this game. And then second half, we were fantastic. So going into the second half, to answer your question, I felt like there was a slim chance we could come back, even though we were 2-0 down. I was like, there's this small glimmer of hope going into the second half, and then lo and behold, we came back and done the business with a man like Trossard. But look, I don't go into the game confident at all. Back of 4 losses against opposition, arguably we should be beating. It just doesn't fill me confidence when we come up against a team such as yourselves with top quality in all areas. Like I said, there's like you picking the worst part of a banoffee pie. You just can't do it. It's going to be a tough one to watch.
Rabagast Nielsen sends a super sticker for the support of the channel. Thank you very much for that. Conroy, Maz has done all this on purpose, man. Just playing the fucking underdog card, so much.
It's true.
Look, the way I look at it, how many games have you lost in a row?
In a row,
yeah.
4.
It's not gonna continue like that. It doesn't.
But when you play against Liverpool, Man City, like the top tier, like you and Man City are in your own little mini league, right? And everyone else is just playing in their own league. And it's like when you come up against these, so we lost 4-1 against Man City this season at Amex, and they absolutely tore us past. You know, when I talk about that first 10 minutes, they just set the tone. Bernardo Silva was on flames. So,
but you had a lot of chances that game. You had so many.
And Sanchez made a mistake. Sanchez makes a mistake.
Sanchez
when we go 1-0
as well. But this is what I'm saying though. So if you guys do the same in the first 10 minutes, if you force us into a mistake, or if you just press us, like, you know, if let's say whoever starts, Salah, Mane, Diaz, for example, they're all very energetic pressing players. So, like, to put that kind of pressure on a Dunk, who's been pretty poor, or a Duffy or a Veltman, either one of those that starts, they are easily prone to an error. So if in the first 10 minutes you put it on us, stick it on us, and you force an error, from there on in, we're pretty much screwed because we just don't have that. You know, we've had a few decent last minute equalizers, etc. And, you know, against you guys, we great comeback. But there's been more times than not where we've sort of let a game in the first 10 minutes, the first 20 minutes, half hour, whatever, go against us, go 2-0 down, 3-0 down, whatever it might be. And then we're finished. So I'm just worried that can easily happen against a Liverpool side such as yourselves with quality all over the pitch.
Shaq sends in a super chat and he says, 0-1 to Liverpool, a win is a win. I'll take that. Conroy?
I think 2-1. I do actually think we concede this game, but I think we cagey game, we get enough and we get the win. 2-1, and it's a huge win. 12:30 kickoff on a Saturday. This year that's been okay, but stereotypically we don't do great in those. We actually drew 1-1, didn't we? When Jota scores last season, I think that was a 12:30 kickoff as well. So yeah, for me 2-1. But as I say, tough game. And as I say, if we win 3-0, Maz, at Brighton, me and Grizz will both say that's one of our best results of the season. We will actually say that. So yeah, I would bite your hand off.
I'm just looking at your away fixtures, right? You've only lost against West Ham away, and you've only lost against and Leicester away, yeah. And you've won your last 5 on the bounce. So I mean, come on, boys, let's not give it the whole, Brighton.
No, but the thing is, mate, sometimes it's like there's a lot of games happening right now, so like it's not like every game we're going to be absolutely
Yeah,
happy.
true.
That's the thing. That's the
Yeah.
thing. You're not sure the now, but we'll see, mate. And listen, I think it'll be an interesting game. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
I'm
Listen,
very much.
I'm probably coming across very pessimistic, but I'm very much a realist. Like when we come against, like I said, against the Liverpools, the Man Cities, I don't hold much hope just because of the quality. The difference, you got to admit, the disparity between the squads is,
No, you're right. You're spot on.
Yeah.
Anyone that says otherwise.
Listen, just to put a bit of positivity for the Brighton fans, we're going to do you boys 2-1. Change your prediction. There you go.
In fairness, Maz, you've drew with Chelsea twice this season.
Yeah,
and you should have beat Man United at Old Trafford. So I think you've done pretty well for hurting our opposition. To be fair, mate.
Shout out to my friend from Luton, Fahim. He says Gomez playing will be bossing it in defence.
Oh yeah, is there much chance of him playing? Or?
I'm not saying anything right now. Can't reveal too much.
I saw he's I think he's back fit, right?
Hint, hint, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. That's what I'm going to say. We didn't press Brighton enough last time around. That will change next game. Shout out to Paulie Walnuts in the chat as well. I'm hoping it's going to be a cracker. I'm hoping we smash you to bits because I'm going. First time I'm going to be at the Amex. And I've so far this season got a 100% record. I think I've been to about 6 games this season.
How early are you having to leave for that, Grizz?
Hey?
Are you leaving on Saturday morning?
Yeah, I'm going with shout out to Ahmed Khalifa of Bahrain, good friend of mine. He likes to go out on these away trips very nice and early and likes to sample the town and city wherever we're going. And he said
4 a.m.
Yeah. He said we're getting. He said he WhatsApped me earlier. He said, Grizz, we're having breakfast in Brighton. I said, got it, boss.
Hey, what a better place, to be fair. Like Brighton, genuinely, like I know I'm from Brighton, so I'm biased, but Brighton.
No, mate, big it up, mate. Honestly, I appreciate that. Yeah,
it's an incredible. Honestly, it's an incredible. Like I'm sure as an away fan, it must be class. Like because you get to go, like you say, soak up the surroundings, go to the beach, go to the pier, go have nice breakfast somewhere. Like man, like soak it up because it's a great away day.
My subscribers are absolute hawks and FBI agents and all sorts, and they've just reminded me, no, Grizz, you went to the West Ham game where we lost 3-2. I tell you why that doesn't count. No, there's a valid reason. Say it, Conway.
He's in the West Ham end.
There you go.
There you go.
So I've always got an excuse. I've always got an exit strategy. So because I couldn't get a ticket in the away end, I had to force myself, and because I had to go because West Ham's around the corner from me.
Yeah,
I had to go.
Grizz, so don't worry. I think I've said this on your pod before. I went to the Palace Brighton game where we drew 1-1. I was in the Palace end, mate. It was honestly, it was like someone had like stuck a dagger in my heart. Like honestly, the amount of times where I couldn't say anything because I was in the home end, I was in the Palace end. I couldn't say anything when the game was going on. But then it was a moment of poetry when that 95th minute equaliser went in, because obviously the Palace fans just went mad, and I'm there with my camera going, it was brilliant. Because just a bit of context, I'm not one of those bellends who films everything. I work in social media, so I always have to try and capture content. You know what I mean? I just had to capture the tears, the Crystal Palace tears. It was sensational scenes. Behind enemy lines.
Don't mention tears and Crystal Palace with us.
Don't do
that.
If I hear Christian Bull one more time, or just give it a rest.
Monkey King says, make sure you grab a pie at the Amex.
Higgity pies. They're one of the best voted pies in the country, I believe.
Honestly, I love this chat. That is just honestly like some of the stuff. That's just brilliant. That just sums the chat up. They're just for knowledge or just telling you stuff to do. It's
amazing. That has been always. It's been, as always, a brilliant chat. As I said, tomorrow I'm in the Liverpool. Saturday I'm in the Liverpool end, so I've got a 100% record while sitting in the Liverpool end. So there you go. A bit of context.
Had that up the sleeve, Chris, didn't you? Had that up the sleeve.
Just in case, you never know.
Can I just add these? No, can I have these few chats because I have to bring this up. This is too good not to bring up. I saved this earlier. is Monkey King against his McAllister is actually a bit Scottish. I don't know if this is true, Maz, but I've actually think I heard this before. It's his granddad.
I think he's got some kind of ancestry with. There's some Scottish, definitely some Scottish.
Could have done with him in the squad for the World Cup qualifiers, but I know he's in Argentina now. Could have done it, mate. Get a wee Che Adams move on there for him. And the other one was, sorry, this was too good. Red Steve. No looks at anything special. Often kick the ball in opposite direction from where I was looking just now. and just Shaq sent a super chat as well, Chris, just to say.
Oh no, I read that one.
Oh, he did get a 1-8. Just Shaq as well.
Yeah, I'll take 1-0. I'll take 1-0 all day long. I think it's going to be 3-1. I'm going for 3-1 Saturday, but I think it's going to be a 3-1 that's going to be very hard earned. Like, we're going to have to play at our best. They're going to be up for it. Graham Potter's not going to let them lose 5 games in a row easily. I think they're going to be right up for it. I think the crowd will be up for it. I know Maz is trying to play down the atmosphere and everything. I think they're going to be really up for it because it's Liverpool.
Because I say best atmosphere of the season, and Maz is like saying, "Who will us best atmosphere?"
Yeah, no, because it's Liverpool. It's because it's Liverpool. It's Liverpool. We're coming to Brighton. You know, they're going to be up for it. As he says, Basuma's going to want to impress. Maybe if we're interested in, you know, he's going to want to put on a show for potential suitors. That Emrepo was unbeatable, unplayable in that first game.
Superb.
Yeah, he was superb, and he scored that fucking fluky or great goal. Whichever
we had a 20-minute debate on if that was meant or not, Maz, and I was saying it was.
I think it was a cross.
Really?
Yeah, I think. Although, do you know what? I think in the replay he does have a look at the goal. Like, he gives a little look. He gives a little glance at the goal. Yeah. So I don't know.
I said at the time, and people were disagreeing. I'm not going to go into the comments again. I thought he meant it just because, right? Like, sometimes the way you hit a ball, if that's a cross, that's the most over hit, and there wasn't really anybody in the box. Trossard's near the edge, and it might have been a pass for him, but I thought he hit it too hard for that. I could be wrong. But see, as you said, because he looked, Maz.
Good point.
I thought he gave him the benefit of the doubt.
But we'll say.
Who
cares, mate? He's finished his career. I scored that at Anfield. Take that. I don't care.
No, listen. At the end of the day, look, it's over and done with. Let's give him the benefit of the doubt because that's the type of channel and people we are. We're good blokes.
Yeah, we like Brighton as well. We like Brighton.
And we like Brighton. Maz knows that we like Brighton, but I think
we're quite a well-liked club. I think because we're just one of those clubs. We don't really get into anyone's business. You know, what I mean? We sort of just stay in our lane. We don't really get involved with.
Take people on, though, Maz. You take people on. You look at Chelsea. You take them on.
No, 100%. No, look, it's a great time to be a Brighton fan. Like, take away the 4 losses on the bounce. It's a great time. Like, just to be in. I know it sounds very like a small club mentality, but just to be in the Premier League to compete with, like, Liverpool, Man City, and all these big clubs, it's incredible. And the fact that, like, we're pretty, we're not going to get relegated this season. We were looking at Conference League at one point, Europa Conference League, and then forms dipped and Wolves have just been much better than us. And it's just one of those things. But it's a great time to be a Brighton fan.
Red Steve's on top form tonight. He goes, I can't remember if I said goal or cross, but I stand by it 100%. Lovely. Listen, Zohib reminds us.
Yeah, that is true.
Maz, we don't get in anyone's business. You have Mopai every.
Yeah, no, that is true. We've got this weird rivalry now with Arsenal. It's a very strange one because it's like just because of that moment with the was it Leno got injured by Mopai? Yeah. It was and what was it? What's his name? Ganduzi.
I've heard a few things about that Guendouzi, to be fair. Like, he thinks he's Bertie big, I was going to say that. I think he's the boy, like, chatting to people what wages you're on and that. I've got no time for that. I think that's absolutely out of order.
Yeah. Well, I think Arteta saw that and that's why he shipped him out, and I don't think he's going to play for Arteta again.
Exactly. So, we've got this weird, like, rivalry now. And was it a tie from, Chris, good old tie from AFTV. He went on a little rant on AFTV. He was like, Mopai, you're a cheat. Hope Brighton get relegated. And then that was basically since then we've had a bit of banter with Arsenal, and it's a weird, strange rivalry. I suppose the same as Palace, really, but just
that's a good segue into a little bit of a plug there. Maz mentioned Ty there. Look out for something I've done with him.
That wasn't even planned, Maz, by the way. That wasn't planned. That was just pure.
No, I because we spoke, obviously. Yeah, we've been messaging and stuff. So I thought we'd put you nice in there, little segue.
It's one of the most awkward and difficult.
Is it soon, Grizz? Is it coming soon? Because I'm actually desperate to watch this.
I haven't got an exact date, but I think it's going to be either this week or the following week.
All right, very good.
Because I know he'd done it with Flav of Spurs on the same day, and that was out 2 weeks ago. So they tried to space it out. In fact, Maz will know more than me about this because Maz works for them. So why am I talking when it's Maz's position?
I'll be honest. It's another team that deals with it at the moment. So I can literally find out for you exactly when it goes out. But no, mate. Honestly, it's one of our most popular formats, and I'm genuinely really looking forward to it because I think it'll be great. Like, I know you said he didn't really give you a word anyway.
Didn't. I sat there, right? And he didn't let me speak. And I was looking at the producers and directors and the camera people. I was like, "Why have you got me here?" And they were like, "No, it's wicked."
Was it a Northern Irish guy called Danny, one of the producers?
I've got the names, can't remember.
Yeah, Danny Lorimer. Yeah, it would have been him because he does all the
and
shit.
He goes, "No, this is brilliant. This is what we want." And I was like, "Okay, I'll just sit here." It's like listening to Ty talk about Herbert Chapman and the Invincibles. That's all the 34 minutes.
You should have just mentioned Mopai when it kicked off.
I'll tell you who I did mention and it kicked off. Oh shit. Oh, he mentioned something about who had a go at Arsenal, man. Oh, I can't remember that. My mind's gone blank. Who was the Bolton manager? The old Bolton manager.
Sam Allardyce.
No, the one who sat down and had all that big issue with them, and the old one. Do you remember? He had a go at them in the middle of the pitch.
Oh, Phil Brown. Do you mean that's the Hull manager?
He went to Hull.
Hull.
He went to town on Phil Brown. Now, I don't know if Lad Bible will release that footage. They have said they're going to release it. It's fucking box office.
That might be the most random thing ever. He went to town on Phil Brown.
But me and him are talking about Liverpool, Arsenal. And then someone mentioned Phil Brown and he said, "You know what about Phil Brown? You know how Ty goes on, right?" He turned around and he had a 10-15 minute rant and they carried on filming it. It's absolute box office, but he's nuts. He's nuts. But I'll plug that when it comes out. But lads, it's been great. It's been brilliant. Maz has tried to play down Brighton's chances, thinks they're going to get spanked, but then he's changed his mind right at the last minute, gone for a 2-1 victory. Conroy, what does Conroy think?
2-1 as well? 2-1 us,
I think 3-1. So we all predicted plenty of goals. So what's the chances of a 0-0 now? Hope not. I'm going to be up at Brighton. If any away Reds are in town, give us a shout. Give us a
get the hat on, Grizz. Someone said get the hat on.
It's war. It's war. Well, I'm sorry, Maz. I love you and I love Brighton, but it's war. So I'm going to have my war hat on. When I go to away games, hostile. You're saying it's not going to be hostile, but it's going to be hostile for Liverpool.
They'll probably wave you in, mate. That's how nice. That's how nice they are.
I'm going to come in the future because this sounds like an absolute great day if you win. This sounds brilliant.
Yeah, so
honestly, it's the nicest stadium you'll go to, mate. Like everyone will be.
Well, I hope so, and I hope you roll over for us. Then, do you know what I mean? If you're making it so nice, can you fucking just roll over for us and like concede a couple of goals early, and then we can take off the likes of Salah in the 60th minute.
It'll probably happen, mate. I don't need to wish that upon you. Like,
have you played Arsenal yet, Maz? Have you played Arsenal at the Amex season yet?
Yeah, we drew 0-0. 1-0.
Have you still got to play? You still got to play them at Emirates.
Yes.
Do you know what? That game will be good. I'm just for the chat. I'm going to check that game out. I'll be supporting you. I'll have my Brighton top on for that game, Maz. Don't you worry, mate.
Love that.
NBA says, Chris, you didn't ask him. We've done this before. We only ask people that are making their debut. Come on, you know this. So Maz is like a veteran now. We've asked him that question where we swap players, like possible fantasy, like you could take two of ours, we take two of yours.
Yeah, we've done that. Yeah.
I think it's Van Dijk and Salah, wasn't it? The obvious ones.
I think so. Yeah, it was the obvious ones. Just
exactly. I said Basuma and Conroy. Can you remember who you said if you was on the show or not?
I don't think Conroy was on that show.
I wasn't, but if it was me, I'd 100% take Basuma and. I actually really, really do like Trossard. I think Trossard's very underrated. I know he's sometimes hot and cold, but I just think intelligence-wise, he's good.
Bit of inside information. We actually inquired about Trossard start of last season
because I think he'd suit our front three for dropping in deep. We like that. So
yep. Yeah. We like Trossard, but they quoted something.
Doesn't get enough praise though. In my, I know you said he's like I get it, Maz, but see that performance at Anfield. See if that was like a Havertz or a Foden. You never hear the end of it. He was actually brilliant in that game.
No, no, no. He's a fantastic player. Like he's one of our best players by a stretch. It's just he sometimes goes missing. Sometimes
Consistency,
it's just
yeah.
consistency. Yeah, it's just very frustrating because that's the thing. Like if you put our team out, our best 11, and you put them on their best day, they can honestly we can come up against everyone. Even maybe just the only team I would worry about is probably Man City, but I would back that team against anyone in that league on their day. If all that 11 play to their best abilities, I would put us up against
You
any of those.
outplayed Chelsea. You've outplayed us in that second half.
Mate,
You've outplayed Man United
we
away.
battered Man United in the first half, and then second half we just capitulated.
Beat City last season as well, mate. When
beat City
they
last
ran
season.
away
Yeah,
with
so like,
it as well.
mate, on our day, I'll put us up against anyone. It's just the consistency.
You've always got a chance.
lack
That
of
must be a
history.
good feeling, mate. Like I know you're in bad form, but as Brighton, you always got a chance. You might get a result. That's amazing because there's some teams who just for a fact they're going to get beat 2-3-0 against the top six.
Norwich, yeah.
Well, you know what? It's been over an hour and a half, and we didn't mention Lallana. Very quickly, we're going to mention Lallana. What situation? Lallana fit, but doubt if he starts, or what situation?
Yeah, who knows with Lallana? I've sort of given up with him. Really, he's a fantastic player. We all know.
Been there, Maz.
Yeah.
He's just unlucky, mate. He really is just unlucky.
Yeah, he's a fantastic player, and it's just super injury prone. He didn't start last game. He was on the bench. He didn't even did he come on? I'm trying to think if he didn't even come on. He was an unused sub last game against Newcastle. So again, will Potter give him that that nostalgia because it's Liverpool? Will he give him a 20-minute run out? Most probably, but I just don't see him starting. No, and I just feel like his wages do not. I think he's the most paid player at Brighton right now. I think he's on like 90k a week or something crazy. And I just feel like he just doesn't justify those wages. And I know there's talk of him becoming a coach from next season, I think, or season after. So I think the sooner he becomes a coach, the better. I think, with all due respect.
Be very good for the players in the team though for that as a coach, a player type coach, because he's experienced and he's been around the squad like Liverpool as well, and Southampton obviously getting him up from League One. So that it's a shame with Lallana because I think technically he's such a good player. Some people
are saying my sound's the weakest out of all of us, lot, but I don't know. Does this make any difference? Let me know if this is making any difference. I don't know.
Just sound okay, maybe.
Nah, apparently afterwards my sound's always. I don't know. I've got this fucking fancy mic. It's doing F4 for me. I don't know.
That's typical, mate, isn't it? Typical, Grizz.
Try to be exactly.
That's like everything. I got a good one, and it's like literally, I don't know if I sound better, so I'm just like, I end up going back to the old one. It's falling apart because I know it sounds okay.
I'm going to look for the receipt afterwards, see if I can give it back.
I'm sure it'll be fine.
Yeah, Maz, wonderful as always.
I appreciate you guys.
We always say we need to get you more often, but you're so busy. People don't know how busy you are. But tell them where they can find you.
Yeah, so social media, it's just Maz Mirza, MAZMIRZADEH on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. I've also got a TikTok channel as well. It's doing pretty well at the moment. So if you want to check out that, I do public interviews and stuff like that, Vox Pops. On all platforms, MAZMIRZADEH.
And I do promise to make a regular show with Maz because everyone seems to like you when you come on, which is a good sign. So we need to make I'm trying to set up a regular show where we speak about all things Premier League, which will absolutely be brilliant to have you on. Conroy, any last thoughts? Anything?
No, I really enjoyed that chat, guys. Grizz messaged me earlier and I was like, "Oh, what time? 9 p.m. tonight?" I'm like, "It's Brighton." And if I've got any excuse to talk about Brighton and Potter, I'll be on. So that's basically, I was always coming on tonight, mate. But Maz, nice to chat to you.
And you, man. Great to meet you guys. And Grizz, obviously met you multiple times, but great to meet you, Conroy. And it's been a great chat. I really enjoyed it.
No,
great kid. Conroy, when are we back? What day is it? Thursday.
Not anything on tomorrow, Grizz, because we've got this out the way today.
No. Oh no. Tomorrow is the prime time show with me and Blue Chip.
Technically Saturday morning, but that's all I'm saying.
Okay, technically Saturday morning, but prime time for people in the US, Canada, Australia, that part of the world. So look out for that. We'll start.
Have you got a time in mind, Grizz, or are you just going to see how it goes?
Yeah, see how it goes. See how it goes.
They've done a 2 a.m. stream a couple of months ago. I think last month. at
2
2 a.m.
a.m.
UK time, right? Well, because
Bloody
our
hell.
chat and people watch the streams, we're thankful for it, but they're different countries, as Grizz will say as well. And the message to him went, "This is our prime time," and ever since it's been people need to get it sorted again.
Exactly.
I rate it. I rate it, Grizz. That's proper. That's proper work rate. That.
It is, man. Look, we cheekily called it prime time, but it turned out to be prime time for people all around the world. So they were like, "Oh, what a time!"
Sarcastic title actually became a title.
Normally we miss the show live. This is brilliant. This is live.
know.
Like, this is comfortable viewing. So we decided to do like one a month, at least for prime time for other parts of the world. So look out for that. Obviously, I've got the infamous blue chip with me, who's absolutely buzzing these days.
Avalanche has returned.
Yeah, Avalanche. Yeah, exactly. So that would be good. But listen, this has been carnage. This has been the preview to Brighton LFC. Hopefully, Liverpool get 3 points and cut down the gap to points behind to 3, because we're currently 6 points behind, aren't we? And that'll put the pressure on them. They've got Palace away. Anything can happen, boys. We're still in this. We're still in all the competitions. Keep hope alive. Over and out.